ultimately you received a phone call that something was going on with your daughter Khadijah and that she was in the hospital.
Actually, yes. And then I also called Dubuque Police Department, and they informed me that there was a situation at the house, and they had taken my daughter to the hospital.
Okay. Did you have any idea what this might be about?
I had no idea initially. I just got a hold of my children, and I told them that they needed to get to the hospital.
Okay.
My cousin.
Did you know before this time who Eddie Hicks was?
Yes, I had met him once before this time.
Okay. And how did you know him?
I just knew in the past that Khadijah was dating him, and I had maybe like 6 or 7 years, and I had never met him until maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to that.
Okay. So when, during the course of your relationship, at least knowing that Khadijah dated Eddie Hicks, did you meet him just once, or how many times did you guess you met him?
Only once. That was the weekend of May 16th. I remember that weekend because I went up to my sister's graduation from college, and that was the weekend that I met him.
Okay. What did you know about the relationship between Khadijah and Eddie Hicks?
Honestly, I didn't know too much about the relationship. I knew that Khadijah had been seeing him, and I never met him.
Okay. Was there an occasion where Mr. Hicks called you about 3 weeks prior to June 17th, 2015?
Yes.
What kind of a phone call was that he made to you?
He called, and actually it was a call coming from my daughter's phone, so I thought it was her.
Okay.
So it was approximately 6 o'clock in the morning,
okay.
And I answered the phone, and it was him, and he was saying things like he was going to smash my daughter's head into a pancake and things like that. And so when he started talking like that, I didn't know if my daughter was in trouble or anything, and I don't know what made me do it, but I instantly grabbed my iPad and I started recording the conversation.
Okay, so you're listening to this, I imagine, extremely disturbing phone call where Eddie Hicks is telling you things he's going to do to your daughter. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and how long did this phone call go on?
It went on for maybe about almost 9.5, 10 minutes.
Told her to try to talk to me, asked her what her name was, to stay awake.
Was she awake?
Every time I tried to talk to her, her mouth would just move, but no, she wasn't able to verbalize anything.
Based on your impression of interacting with her on the scene, was her mouth sort of just moving because she was injured, or were you under the impression, based on the way you were trying to speak with her, that she was trying to respond?
I think she was trying to talk and she just couldn't. And she was just trying to breathe too.
How do you assess a situation like that, what you found her in? What were you doing?
At that point, I placed gloves on. I tried to see where she was bleeding from the most.
Could you determine a primary source of her injuries?
No. I just started wiping away blood to get off of her body, to try to see where the wounds were, and that's when I observed she had multiple lacerations around her chest, her neck, her eye, shoulder, shin. I asked somebody to grab a medical bag, and I started to place gauze on the wounds to try to wipe away some of the blood to find out where this is coming from to stop it. While doing that, I asked Deputy Ostala to place a breathing bag to help her breathe during this.
Did you observe her to be having difficulty breathing at all?
While I was trying to work on her and assess her, I just felt she wasn't breathing as steady as she was when I first got there.
Now, was there, right before June 17th, the day before, did Khadijah or Eddie ask you to take Eddie to Finley to the hospital for something that was going on with Eddie?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, she called me crying. I didn't even know he was in town. And,
You didn't know Eddie was even in town?
No.
Okay.
And she was like, can you take me Eddie to the hospital and all that was going on? She was like, he's saying he in pain, something wrong with his heart or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me speak to Eddie. And he got on the phone.
What'd he say?
And he was like, Shonda, can you please take me to the hospital? I'm like, for what? He was like, because my heart hurts. I'm like, well, why you wait till you get all the way to Iowa to figure out that this happened? He
Yeah.
like, because these people in Chicago don't know what they talking about and stuff like that. Can you please take me, Shonda, please? So I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So when I get there, my sister sat in my front seat and Eddie sat in the back seat. And I had waited for them. They was for a minute. And when they came out, everything was all right. I was asking him what's going on, and he said that he had to, they put him on some medication for a few days.